Here we go. Okay, we've got, grab a band if you have it. If you don't, you'll get the work. You just won't get as much resistance. If you don't even own any kind of a band, you could use yoga pants or something that was kind of stretchy, and you tie the legs around your legs, and then that creates a little extra resistance, and it's just stretchy enough that you're gonna get that little extra work. So, and you can also just opt out of the band altogether, but I like to add that resistance today. So we're gonna set that just right off to the side and go ahead, and we're gonna lie back. So as you roll on back all the way onto your mat, keep your band nearby because we'll get back to that. Letting your arms rest down by your sides, and we'll just start with a little bit of bridging. So feet are gonna be parallel, about the width of your hips here. So continue to just first find your hip points, right? So, and then line your knees and your hips about the middle of your knee, right there with your hips, and then the feet will be right in line with the knees. So about a line as though you had a line that you could draw from the center of your knee all the way down to about your second toe. And then the toes are all pointing to the end of the mat. So spreading the toes wide, shoulders all the way resting back toward the mat, and then just let that middle part of your back drop down into the mat as well. So we've already started some core engagement just by pulling the rib cage down. Okay, take a breath in. And then with your exhale, just begin to lift the hips up, keeping the connection between ribs and hips here. And take a breath at the top, inhale. Exhale, start to lower back down. All the way into the mat. Take a breath. Exhale as you lift. So we're only moving on exhales right now. Inhale at the top. Exhale, lower down. So really focusing on pulling in through that girdle space here in the middle. Again, breathe in. Exhale, lift. Breath at the top. And exhale down. We'll take 2 more this way. So it'll be 4 rounds of breath. Try to maintain action all the way from your big toe to little toe into the center of your heel without allowing the knees to fall further apart. Back down and just rest for a moment and let the knees sway side to side a few times. So we're going to start right away. We'll get that band. And go ahead and pull the band all the way just over the knees. So just above the knee line. I'm now taking the feet just a tiny bit wider than they were before and pushing into the band. So let's start here with a bridge. So the feet are going to be planted and you're just pushing into the band as you lift the hips up and lower down. So we'll move with every breath this time. So inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale and exhale. So really continue to find that space here between ribs and hips that's connecting as you're pushing into your band. If you're not using the band, just do your basic bridge here. Okay. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Last 3, 2, 1 more. And then I want you to lift the next one and hold. So lifting and holding here. Go ahead and heel toe your feet in. So just pull your toes in, then your heels, and then maybe 1/2 time more until you feel your feet just about touching, but the soles of the feet are still on the floor. So we're gonna open up and just like you're opening little wings here and bring it back in. Inhale, push out and back in. Out and in. Inhale, exhale. We're trying to keep the feet mostly planted here, so try to press right below your big toe. If it kind of rolls off the floor a little bit, it's okay. Depends on the flexibility of your ankles. Inhale, exhale. Let's go 4 more. Out, in. Even without resistance, you're still getting work right here. Scoop in through the belly just a bit. Make sure you're staying engaged. One more. And then back to center, lower down. So we're going to keep the feet close together for those little butterfly bridges. Open, lift up, lower down, and close. Open, lift, down, close. So open, press the knees out, lift, bring it down, and return to center. Now open, lift, down, close. Okay. Continue with that pattern. 4 more. And 3. So open first, lift, bring it down, close. 2, open, lift, down, close, and 1. Now I want you to hold this one right here. Hold it. You're going to pulse the knees out. So push against the band. Small pulses, not super fast. So we go out, back to center, out, back to center. There we go. Okay, and I want you to keep your hips lifted, tail slightly drawn under. Whew, keep breathing. We're feeling it burning right here. All right, keep going for 4, 3, 2, 1, and release it. Bring it down. Just rest for a moment. You can pull your feet further down the mat and then just rock side to side, or you can release your band if needed. I'm just going to leave it on because it's a little easier just to stay there. Okay, coming back to center. I want you to separate the feet again about hip distance. Okay, shoulders relaxed still. So we're going to lift up, and as you lift, go ahead and pause. Bring that right knee up towards your chest. So we're strengthening for hip flexors here, but also engaging core. Now bring it down, lift up, left leg lift. So you're pushing against that band, and you're pulling the belly in at the same time. So lift, draw the knee up, bring it down, and release. So we constantly are hearing about, so just continue to march with me for a moment. All right, but we're constantly hearing about stretch those hip flexors. The hip flexors are too tight. You need to stretch your hip flexors. This may be a true statement. They are usually pretty tight, overworked, underpaid, right? But the problem is we are not also strengthening them. So we've got to get some strength in those hip flexors and not just tight. So it was one of the first things I had to learn that confused the heck out of me. As tight muscle needs to be strengthened. It's not necessarily a strong muscle. It's just tight and short. So we do lengthen it. We do learn to relax it first. But then we have to get some strength into it. Okay, so we're doing both here today. So we're going to lift, continue. We've got 2 more each side. Bring it down. Lift up. Bring it in. And those hip flexors and core are working together. When the core is not firing, the hip flexors are the only ones doing the work. That's why they're overworked and underpaid. Okay, you've got to get that core firing before the hips work. Bring it down. Now, pause, come up. Bring it back into that bridge, and we're just going to do a slow march right here, keeping the hips lifted. So we're going to bring it up, lower down, up, back down. So the hips are lifted and just floating 1 foot at a time off the floor, pushing knee toward chest, letting it pause right at the hip line. That's as far as my band's allowing me to go, and that's as far as I want to go anyway. All right, so that's where we're moving to. Even if you don't have a band, you're just imagining there's resistance. Keep it working. There you go. Good job. So we're going for 4 more. Up for 4, 3, 2, last 1, and rest. Bring it all back down. Give it a little moment here, and then reach out, full body stretch. You can leave the band on if you like. Circle out your ankles and bring the knees into the chest. Give them a little hug. Rock it side to side. Okay, so now we're going to float those knees right over the hips again. Little tabletop with your shins. Arms are going to reach up to the sky, and then bring right arm over the head, and left leg reaches out. So we're still adding that resistance. The band is slid up a little higher. It's fine. Okay, come back to center. Switch sides. So left arm goes overhead, right leg reaches out, come back to center. Inhale. Pull the rib cage down. You've got that core connection happening. You're just working against a little extra resistance. Inhale, reach. Exhale, center. Inhale, reach. Exhale, center. Good. Continue here. 4 more after this one. We go for 4, 3, 2, last one, and bring it back in. Give your knees a little hug down toward the chest, rock it side to side. All right, so as your feet come back down to the mat, we'll take the legs pretty wide. Okay, you can keep the band on. If it's slid up, go ahead and move it back down so it's closer to your knees. We're going to keep the feet about the width of your mat. I want you to push into the band, push it out, hold here. Okay. Reach the hands toward the sky. I'm going to kind of inchworm the toes down the mat. So I'm walking those feet a little further away. Pull the rib cage in. Inhale here. Push into the band. Lift the chest. Lift up and reach. Bring it back down. Let's imagine that's like a 2 count right there. Inhale. Exhale, lift, lift, and then down, down. Inhale. Exhale, lift, lift, and down, down. Nice and slow. Inhale. Exhale, lift. So you can make it pretty smooth. It doesn't have to be a 1, 2, but it's for the count of 2. So we go up, smooth, bring it down, smooth. All right, 3 more. Up. 2. Blow it out. 1 more. Back down. And rest for just a moment. Arms by your sides. Walk the feet back in a little bit toward your sit bones. And then without lifting your hips, just bring the feet in a little bit closer together. We're going to take one leg at a time and step it out. Now, be mindful here that it's not just your foot. So you might be able to notice or see here that my knee stayed in the same place and I just kind of sent that foot out to the side. That's not what we're looking for. We want to anchor, let's say with the right leg here, and I want to push that left leg out. Bring it in. We'll do that to the other side. So out, bring it in. Step out, bring it in. We're trying to keep everything else super steady. Inhale, hips are steady. The anchoring leg stays still. You're pulling against it. Step, back in, step, back in. Good. Back in, and let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center. We lift it up into a bridge. Here we go. Same thing. We step it out, in, alternating, out, in. So kind of turn your toes out a little bit, just a tiny bit, as you pull the knee out to the side. You're really stepping. Anchoring with that opposite leg. If it gets to be a little too much, just take that band off. Continue without the resistance. Do push against the band though if you're using it. Here we go. Last 4. Scoop the belly. 3, 2, and 1. And release down. All right. Go ahead and we'll take the band off for just a moment. Freedom here. All right, feet are wider, and we take a big big windshield wiper. I can't get the words out. Big windshield wiper side to side. Little knee sway. All right, moving right along. We're gonna turn it onto one side. Okay, but take a moment in between. Just pull your knees into your chest. You can rock side to side, or you'll go side to side with your knees. Taking a little reclining twist. And then come all the way over to one side. And bring your band with you. So we come back over. All right, let's take that band again. Once again, with or without your band is fine. I might even give myself the option. We'll see what happens. Oh, excuse me. Might give myself the option to go a little lighter on this one. Okay, so you can choose what works best for you, and I could change my mind again. So we're gonna lie down. This is pretty light. So the ones that I have, my gray one is really light. This one is my medium, and the hardest one, the most challenging one, is a black one, and it is very challenging. So I'm gonna start here and just see how it goes. So we're gonna bring the knees up. You can rest on your elbow or down on your side. I prefer to be on the side on this one. So we're gonna keep the band kind of in the same place it was, and just above the knee line. We're going to keep the feet together and just do little clams. So we're going to open and close the knees. So just lifting and lowering. And this one can get really challenging really quick without any additional resistance. So don't worry if you don't have any. If you want to add resistance and you don't have a band, or you have a band and you want more resistance, you can add your hand to press into it, or a small weighted object. So like maybe a little weight, a little 1, 2, 3 pound weight, something like that might work. Okay. Anything that you have that's going to add some resistance will work here. Okay, so open and close. Now we want to be careful that we're not leaning back, so you're leaning slightly forward with your upper body. Really focusing right here on those external rotators. And let's try for 3 more. That's 3, 2. Now open it here and then bring the heel up and bring it down. So just kind of lift the toes and then bring it down. So now kind of knee diving down and then back up. So you're just moving back to that little diamond or clam position here. Rotating from the hip, dropping the knee down, lifting the heel up, and then back to center. For 4, 3, 2, last one. All right, now keep the knees parallel. I've got it floating here. It's about hip height. I'm going to drive the knee in toward the chest and then drive the heel back to the wall behind me. Okay, so drive it in, drive it back. Inhale, comes up. Exhale, you push back. Keep the core active. The core is working not only with your hip flexors, but it's working with your glutes. So that's your stabilization, kind of whole girdle situation, or the powerhouse in Pilates. We've got the glutes active, inner thighs will work depending on what we're doing, and this whole transverse abdominis along with your deeper stabilizing muscles. Okay, so continue here. We've got 3, 2, really contract. And 1, now I want you to hold it back like you're pushing your foot to the wall behind you. You're still pulling hip points slightly up, ribs are down, and we push little pulses like you're gonna step to the wall behind you for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now straighten that leg out and we drop it down, lift it up. Yes, I know. Lift it up. With or without a band, this is challenging. Feeling the burn. I want you to rotate your toes down a little bit. Exhale. Lead with the edge of your heel up to the sky. And let's take it for 4 more. Breathe. 3, 2. Last one. And rest. Oh my goodness. All right, slap it out a little bit with the heel of your palm. This can be helpful to just kind of loosen it back up. We'll lift up and go to the other side. So see why I went down on my band? That's plenty. It's plenty. Okay, back to the other side. Now when you get to your second side, the side that you just had on top, you can roll around on that. Just kind of massage the bone to the muscle. And then get a little more relief right there, and we'll stretch it in a moment. All right, so resting down again. Now we're going to start that little clam action, little clam legs. So feet together. We're bringing the knees forward. The heels can be slightly behind the knee line. They don't have to be right in line. Okay, so we're just going to open and close. Now, if you find that already that second side's feeling a little challenging, it's probably because it was stabilizing. So even though we're lying on the floor, when you move one side, the other side has to stabilize. So oftentimes we find our restrictions are happening on the side that we think of as our not bad side, you know, because we're like, I don't know what's going on over here, but that side stabilizes while the other side is working. If there's an imbalance, it may be a shorter, tighter, not as strong appearing because it's being overworked in ways that are not allowing it to get stronger. Okay, so let's keep going here for 3. Breathe. 2, 1. Now hold it right there. Lift that knee. Float the heel. We're going to rotate so that the knee drives down a little, and then back to center. Tap the foot. Bring it up and lower it down. The knee stays floating the whole time against this resistance if you're using it, or again, you can take your hand right here, just push on it a little. That's all you need. All right, come on, 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Now pause. You're parallel, about the width of your hand between the knees. You're going to drive it in and then take it back. Drive it in. Feel glutes and hamstrings have a play here. So just having your knee bent is already activating your hamstrings when you take that leg back. And then when we extend from the hip right here, we pull it back. We're getting glute work along with hamstrings assisting. Okay. Core active. Let's go. Last 4. Push it back. 3, 2. Keep everything in. 1. Now hold it and take little bitty ones that you push back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now pause it. Take the leg straight out of the hip. Lower down. Lift it up. Lower down and up. Inhale. Exhale. Bring it up. Relax your upper body. Take big deep breaths. Blow it out. Rotate the toes down a little more. Try to lift your heel up. So there's an internal rotation. Ooh, here we go. Last 4. Breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Oh, okay, we did it. We did that. All right, that was a thing, right? Okay, roll back for a moment. You can bring that strap off or that band off, and then do a little figure 4. So we're gonna cross one leg over the other leg and then bring it up slowly, carefully, and get a little stretch here. You can rock that figure 4 side to side. And then switch sides. Bring it up, hold on. And if you can't quite reach through the triangle comfortably, take your band that you just had or something nearby that you can hold around it. All right, let's take one more breath and then release. So we're going to flip it on over. Go ahead and come up, and you can do that same little massage there on that side that we just had on top. Okay, now I'm going to take the band again. Actually, I'm going to go back to the other band for myself. Okay, we're going to flip over into tabletop. All right, so from here, as we move into that little quad pad or tabletop position, hands right underneath the shoulders. Pull them back, relax, push up in between the shoulders just a little bit, scoop the belly just a tiny bit, and pull the rib cage in. So we've got front body connection here. So let's take the elbows down. That sounds like a good idea today. All right, so elbows just underneath the shoulders, still pulling the front body up. Gaze just between your hands or maybe right between your wrists. Now taking your left leg, bring it up, foot is flexed and press. Okay, bring it back down. Inhale, exhale, lift, bring it down. So I want you to really push it up there, but keep your core engaged. So you should feel that in your glutes primarily. Inhale. Exhale, up. Let's go for 4. And 3. Shoulders relax away from ears. You got a long space there. 2. And last 1. Now hold it. Just hold it. And now little ones up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. But wait, there's more. Come up to your hands. If you prefer to stay on your elbows, it's fine. I just kind of like this one a little more level. We're going to take that knee out to the side. So flip it open, like a little fire hydrant lift, and back down. Open, bring it down. Open it up. Now this again can be done with or without the band, but we can do a little less repetition with more resistance and still get a great workout. Last 4, 3, keeping the rest of your body nice and steady. Weight in your left hand so that you're not rocking. Last 1. And you know there's a pulse here. Go up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Woo. Sit back. Stretch it out. We're going back to the elbows. I will flip it around for you. All right, back down. Hold it here, hips in line with knees. Pull up so that you're not sinking down through the midsection. Okay, get that front body engagement. Here we go. Flex the right foot. Take it up, stomp the ceiling. Bring it down. Pull those shoulders back, just let them relax away from your ears. Deep breath in. Exhale. Really feel like you were trying to push your heel up into the sky. Last 4, 3, 2, continue to really engage the core. Let those 2 work together. Hold it, and now little pulses up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring it down. And here's your bonus with purchase. Come on up. We're back into that quad position. Pull it up. Here we go. Out to the side. Out. Bring it down. Now when you take it out, continue here. I'm going to flip for you. Okay, when you take it out, try not to be leaning into it this way. I want you to stay really steady. The leg you're lifting, your right leg, make sure you've got some weight in that right hand and you don't shift everything to the left, okay? Last 4, just to get the most out of what you're doing. 3, 2, last 1, we hold it and pulse it up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, okay, sit back. Stretch it out. All right, let's take that band off and you can just throw it across the room. Okay, set that off to the side. Let's face forward. Taking legs out long, stretch them out, just shake them out a little bit. Okay, come back. Let's take the right leg, cross it over to get a awesome stretch here. Now, if you feel like you're kind of leaning back, grab a blanket, a block, or just anything that you could lift up onto. Okay, get yourself a little more elevated as you pull that knee in. Start to wrap your hands around it, or maybe even the crook of your elbow here as you rotate around and really, really give it a hug. Feel that stretch on the outside of your hip here. Rotate the hand behind you for some support. Every exhale, see if you can pull yourself around a little bit more. Place weight into that right sit bone as you're rotating around and pulling the knee in. Let's take one more breath. Come back around. Now just let that knee drop. You can either stay right here, come forward. Let's do that together for a moment. We're going to stretch the hamstrings out as well. Okay, now once you've accomplished that, if you feel like you could go a little further, a little more intense on the hip stretch, you can bend the bottom knee and then come forward. that doesn't feel quite right for you, just stay where you were. We'll come back up. Switching sides, so just unwind, send those legs out, bringing the left leg on top, pull the knee in, give it a nice little hug here, lift up tall, pull yourself around. Deep breath. Exhale, rotate a little deeper. Last breath here. And then come back around. We'll just let that knee drop. You can scoot it off a little bit more to the right side with your foot. And then come forward. Push out through the straight leg a little. And we've got that wonderful stretch here. Primarily feeling that, most of us probably feeling that on the back of our leg into the hamstrings. To intensify the hip stretch, you can bend the bottom leg. Bring yourself forward. Awesome work today. We have very strong glutes ready to carry us throughout the day and move you forward. So it's kind of funny, but you know, the idea that the muscles in the back of our body are actually a lot of what bring us forward, right? So, or bring things to us even. So our push muscles in the front here, but our pull muscles are around the backs and the sides of the body, and that's what brings things to us and or propels us forward. So we can't move forward without working the back of the body. So you've got to get those glutes strong, hamstrings strong instead of tight, right? Hip flexors strong instead of tight, but also loose. So we need both. We need strength and stretch. Let's come back to center. Just take a big side reach up and over. We're always looking for balance here. Back up. Let's take one more big reach. Sweep it all the way over. Relax that bottom shoulder. Anchor opposite hip from where you're reaching. Inhale up. Exhale over. And come all the way back up to center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, let them land right at your heart. Give yourself a bow. An amazing job, great work. Thank you for showing up, being here for yourself, so you can be there for others.